This week on Working Class Foodies, I'm going to show you how to make a kale, quinoa, and roasted tomato salad that's quick, easy, super healthy, and a great dish for Passover, Easter, and even Earth Day.
This week on Working Class Foodies.
Kale is delicious and healthy cooked, and it's even better for you raw. It's full of protein, vitamins B and C, and all sorts of antioxidants. And quinoa is also incredibly healthy. Earlier this week, there was an article on the front page of the New York Times Online about whether or not quinoa is kosher for Passover. If you feel comfortable eating quinoa on Passover, it's a great dish for any party, from Passover to Easter to Earth Day, because the dish tastes just as good hot or cold, so you can make it the night ahead. And it's an incredibly satisfying and filling salad. To make this salad, first preheat your oven to about 400 degrees. Rinse your cherry tomatoes, and then halve them. Line a baking dish with tinfoil, and add in your tomatoes, cut side up. Season the tomatoes with olive oil, salt, and fresh ground black pepper. And roast in the oven for about 30 minutes until they're brown around the edges and have released their juices but are not burnt. You can also make this with slow roasted tomatoes, which you want to do for about 6 hours on 250 degrees, but this way will work just as well if you're in a rush. Next, make the quinoa. I used half a cup of red quinoa, but you can also double this to 1 cup, and you can use either red or white quinoa. Rinse the quinoa well to remove any bitter flavors, and then add to a pot. And cover with a double amount of water. I used half a cup of quinoa, so I used 1 cup of water. I lightly salted the water and then put a lid on my quinoa. I brought it up to a boil and then immediately reduced it to a simmer and simmered it covered for about 20 minutes or until the quinoa had bloomed and most of the water had been absorbed. Fluff the quinoa with a fork and set it aside. Meanwhile, prep your kale. First, either cut or tear by hand stems and leaves into roughly cut bite-sized portions. You want to remove all the tough ends of the stalks because these will not be palatable. Save the stems for making stock. Place the kale in a salad spinner, rinse well, and then spin dry. Now it's time to make our salad dressing. This salad dressing is kind of like a modified Caesar salad dressing. First I minced and then crushed 1 clove of garlic with about half a teaspoon of kosher salt. I added in the juice of about half a lemon. Whisk together your garlic, salt, and lemon juice and slowly add in about a 1/4 cup of olive oil in a steady stream. Whisk this well until it's emulsified. Then I grated in about a 1/4 cup of pecorino. This salad is already vegetarian, but it could very easily be made vegan. Just sub out the cheese for some ground nuts. Pine nuts or walnuts would be perfect. And then zested in some of the lemon skin as well. Mix this together and then season it with salt, black pepper, and crushed red pepper. If you need to add a little more lemon juice or a little more olive oil, whisk it in now. Put the kale in a large bowl and toss it with about half the salad dressing until the kale is well coated. With a fork or a large wooden spoon, fluff the quinoa into the kale. You might not need all of the quinoa, so add it slowly. Then add in about half of your roasted cherry tomatoes. Toss this all together, add a little more dressing at this point if you need to, and then top with the rest of the roasted cherry tomatoes. This salad will hold up well in the fridge overnight, or you can eat it hot. If you have any leftovers, which is unlikely, they're great the next day for lunch. This salad would also make an excellent topping for a grilled flatbread, or even as a great base for a pizza with some cubed mozzarella on top. A great thing about the dressing in this salad is that it's not overly acidic. Because kale is a rather hearty vegetable, you can make the dish the night before and it won't become all wilted and soggy in the fridge overnight. The total cost for this salad should come to between $8 and $9 depending on the quality of cheese and olive oil that you use. but it easily yields 4 generous servings, so it comes down to just over $2 a serving. This is definitely going to be my go-to salad for any parties this spring, especially when there's still such a chill in the air up here in New York. But now it's your turn. Share with me what you're making for your Passover, Easter, or Earth Day parties this year, and we'll see you next week on Working Class Foodies. Check out some of our other episodes to find recipes that would go great with this dish by clicking any of these boxes around my face.